Hello, everyone. Uh, it's been great to travel from India to Boston. This is my first time. Yep, so far it's going good. I am spending my most of the time sleeping in the room and struggling jet lags. And moreover, tonight I'm flying back, so can't do anything. Cool. So my talk is about your guide for scalable design system in React.js. And before that, little bit about me. My name is Neha Sharma. Full-time, I'm working as a manager UI COE at HCL Software. COE is Center of Excellence. I'm going to talk about that little bit. I'm also the organizer and founder of a meetup community, JS Lovers. If you will put these words on Google, you will find a lot of information about that. Just to give you an idea, this is one of the biggest tech meetup of India, and now it's scaled in 4 cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, and Bangalore. And I'm into calligraphy. So if anyone is interested in calligraphy and just want to see what I do at my spare time, so yep, you can look into my Instagram. Please do not go by name. None of the name was available because my name in India is very common. So I just took whatever was there. Okay, so moving ahead, what this talk is not about. I'm not going to tell you what is design system. Nope, how you can build one. I'm not going to talk about that. Moreover, it is about my experience, my journey of building design system at my workplace. One more thing is this design system which we have built for HCL software is not open source. I'm not here to enforce any design system on you, so you can relax and enjoy the talk. This is not about selling pitch or anything. It is only about the knowledge sharing. So what problem we were trying to solve? So in HCL software, we have like a lot of products, and these products are from enterprises application to small products from different domains. And these products are available in the market from years. And again, these products have a lot of sub products, and there are few products which can be extended by the end user and can be customized with the look and feel and the features also. Fun fact, when I submitted this talk, I was working as a UI lead there. Now I just got promoted, and now presently I'm UI manager. So there was a huge transition between that. So I'm going to speak from that lead and management both experience. So the problem we were trying to solve is all these products were missing the brand guidelines, the UI, the UX, and the code guidelines. As every organization want that whatever the product going out of their umbrella should have the consistent experience and guidelines that was missing. Moreover, our product is spread across the world. So every product is having their own designer, their own developer, and we as a COE team was sitting in the Bangalore in India, and we were supposed to help them in making sure that the consistency is there, they are following UX, they know the brand guidelines, they know what is the best practice of coding, blah, blah, blah. But the problem was so many products, so many product designers, so many developers, how we should do it. So the idea came is let's do the webinars. Let's start doing the advocacy about the brand guidelines of our company. Okay, but the problem is we are developers. We are not web devrel. We don't want to do it. None of the designer want to do it. So what we can do should be a better solution of that. Cool, let's make design system. Why not? Because if you can think, I think this is the third talk of React Boston on design system, so probably this is the most trending thing. And everyone was excited because everyone wants to have design system on their resume. And we were like, yeah, developers were like, we will make some components. Designer will design some components. We will release. Our job is done. Cool. So as developers, we just went on our system, open our ID, and we were React developer. And style component just came in, so we just get into the button and all that. We just started that. But the thing come is from where to start. Hold on. So we were like, okay, let's do one thing. There are a lot of design system available in the market. Why don't we just go pick that, modify as per our UX, and we are good. So we said, okay, we went, we look into the design system, but the problem was their requirements were different. Their goals were different. Their UX definitely was different. The way the code they were following, the way we wanted as per our, everything was different. So it was like that we are, almost starting from the scratch. So that was off table. And till date, this is a constant discussion comes in our team, because as a developer, we assume that if a big brand name is doing something, they are doing definitely correct, and what we are doing is incorrect. Nope, this is not true, because sorry, but when Bootstrap was taking some decision, we were not there. Might be their requirements, their challenges, their goals were different. Please, whatever you have, whatever requirements you have, think over that. Yes, do research, but do not just go blindly with the big companies or big brand decision. It's totally okay if you want to modify something, and we actually did. For example, when we were working on our naming conventions, we thought let's go with BEM or something else, but there were like a lot of confusion going on, so we just modified that a little bit, and now we are so happy with that decision that at least we have something which we know, which we understand, that why we have done it and how we are using it. Okay, so we decided that we will have, okay, I shouldn't have showed you that PPT, but anyhow. So the problem came is that, okay, we will start with our design system, but the again problem was that so many products were there, we were not having any requirement. So the thing was how we can meet all the product people, all the designers, all the developers, and understand their requirements. So the thing came was, let's have an internal surveys, and those surveys should be straightforward with few questions about, are they using any design system? If yes, which? If not, then why not? What are the three things that make them easy to adopt to design system, and what are the top things that doesn't make them easy to adopt to design system? Which tech they are using, and so on. So surveys result came, and for our shocked, this was the expectations of the product from our design system. And as a developer and as a UX folks, we were like, surprised that we were just thinking about making just component and just brand guidelines, but the expectation was higher. And more than that, the biggest thing which came forward is that a lot of non-technical people, especially not the front-end developers, they were looking at the design system so that they can use that design system to build some quick prototyping. For example, the people like UX people, product people, and marketing people shared that they generally get the requirement, create a web page with heading H4 with this content, create a paragraph with these kind of buttons we want. So they were looking at design system as a non-tech person. They will go, they will fetch the heading component, add the modifier H4, put the content, put the paragraph component, and like this. And that actually helped as a developer, as a React.js developer, or as a front-end developer to change our perspective. Because before that, we were thinking that there are few components which we doesn't need to build, because the developers are going to use design system. They can build a heading component. Why we need to build? They can make a paragraph component. Why we need to build? The reason is that do not think just as as a developer. You never know who is going to use your design system. You are making it at a tool so that even the non-technical people can pick it up, so that if they are getting a requirement, create a heading with some text, they will go to your design system, fetch that heading component, and just put their content in there. So this was the biggest learning we got. And another thing which we learned is, initially we were thinking that as a developer, we will just, every morning we will go, open our IDE, make some components and publish it. But sadly, this is not true, because 70% of the work was, 70% of the time was discussing with UX, product people, understanding the scopes, requirement, helping them to understand if they are introducing a component in the design system, what would be the states, what would be the micro interactions, how they are going to behave in different breakpoints, how they are going to behave in web, tablets, and so on. And the rest of the 30% was the actual coding. So if you are a developer who wanted to be a developer of a design system, and if you are thinking that all day you will be just publishing components, I'm sorry, this is not going to happen. You need to focus on the 70%, because if that 70% is perfect, then your 30% will be like very, very smooth. So, yep. And this become an eye-opener for us that design system is not going to be a project for us. It is going to be a product. We are a team of 6 developers, 6 designers, and 4 testers. Design system was one of the project for us. And the moment we understood that this is going to be a big game for us, at that moment our challenge started. Cool. So that brings us to that what exactly is the design system for us now? Because now it is not just about components and not just about the UX guidelines. For us, it was broken into these three things. The first thing is it is not just a library of reusable components for front-end developers. It is also a tool for non-tech people to build quick prototype. So if you can able to make such design system so that the non-tech folks can pick it up, then you have done a good job. The second thing was it's the reflection of organization brand values. Before this, our struggle was every week a new designer is coming on board, going, so many people are going, coming. It was very hard to every PM to take them through the guidelines. So what happened is the feedback we got is because our design system is in place, all they have to do is whenever a new developer is joining or anyone in the team is joining, they just hand over that URL to them. They go through that. It has all our UX guidelines, style guidelines, color palettes, icon, how to use, voice and tone, and everything. All they need to do is just go through that. So now no more PPTs and no more webinars, only this design system. Last thing, as I mentioned, we developers love to work in isolation. We want to go in the office, work with the cup of coffee or tea, and publish our code and everything. But if you are a design system developer, you have to work in collaboration. You need to talk to other people. You need to sit in the meeting rooms. You need to discuss a lot of things. And only through the collaboration, you will be able to build a great design system. Okay, but what about the future? Because whatever we have done so far, whatever the feedback we were getting, that was as per the experience of the product people from their past and present. And everyone knows that the JavaScript framework library is the next fastest growing ecosystem after human race. So we were like, okay, now what we should do? Should we have like design system for everything else? How should we do it? So the question came is, design system needs to be framework agnostic. I agree. I 100% agree about that. But the problem is when you are working in a big organization, as a center of excellence, we encourage people for new technology. When you have the products in your system from years, which are getting used by so many end users, you can't enforce them to change your technology. I can't go in a room and tell the product people, oh, you are using a bad technology, just change because X technology is good or Y technology is good. So as a UI developer, as a team lead, you need to respect. So you need to respect the frameworks will always remain there. You need to respect that thing. But the question comes is then how we can scale our design system, irrespective of tomorrow Angular new version is coming or Vue.js is coming, how we can do it. So for the scalability, how to have scalability? The thing is, for scalability, we went back and we understood that what we can do, how we can make sure that at least we as a developer not spending much time in doing repetitive code and repetitive things, which means that we were started focusing on reusability. Now we break these things in two ways. The first thing is, so this talk can't be complete without this particular image. If you will throw design system, this image will come always. So what we have done is we'll focus on this thing where we were just focusing on atoms. We break our requirements in the smallest detail, and we were like, we will just have atoms in the place so that we can scale our design system. We were not focusing on molecules or organisms. We were having only few molecules in our design system, but maximum were atoms only, small components, so that they can be scaled. Our testing team is very great. So what they have done is, once we are done with our atoms, they were taking our atoms and trying to create organisms and the pages and etc. So they were doing the heavy lifting work for us. Now, how this was benefiting us in scalability? So if we were getting a request like this, that please can you build these three components, what we used to do, we used to analyze and we used to break these components. If you will see, these components are just made of these 6 atoms. So we don't use to build these components for our product team. We used to tell them, please go to the design system portal. All these atoms are already available. Just pull them and create your own component. So this is how we were able to scale it from the component perspective. The second thing is, if they were asking about like UI changes, rounded, sharp, shadow, again we were having the modifiers. So this was the first thing we have done, that for the scalability, we break everything to the smallest thing. The second thing is we went back to our code and we understood that how every code, either it's React, Angular, whatever, everything is component. So how this component is basically. There's CSS, which is your styling. There's HTML, which is your view. And then comes the framework specific code. Uh, by the God grace, what happened is not one of, many of our product teams told us, gave us the feedback that we are very happy with the kind of work we have, the code we have. The only thing is missing is the brand guidelines. So do one thing, just give us the styling thing. They just want the CSS for that. So what we have done is we separated every layer. So we have a separate styling library with us, which is totally modular. So if any product wants an accordion, they can just pull the accordion stats. For the HTML also we have the same. They are not even tightly coupled. So if there is a product who don't want to use the whole design system and they are happy just by using our styling, please go ahead and use it. Same we have done with the HTML. Now what is left is only the framework specific code. Either it's React, either it's Angular, or either it's Vue. All they have to do is just import our CSS, convert their HTML to JSX. We have a utility for that also, and same goes for the Angular. So this is how we were able to break everything, and this is how we were able to scale it. The benefit of doing this is this. So now when we did the React.js development, the CSS and HTML was already there. The React.js developer all need to do is just import the Sass and play around with the states and all. With the Angular, the same thing happened. Our CSS, our HTML was already ready. Only the Angular developer needs to just plug in those things. The benefit of this was the quality also, because now developer is actually reusing the CSS and HTML twice. It is going under the lens twice or thrice. So that developer can actually understand what are the changes, what more could be optimized. So this helped us a lot. Recently, we just finished our Angular development of components, and the speed and the quality was very, very good. We didn't spend much time because everything was there in the system, only the Angular specific thing we were supposed to do. Okay, so what else we have done? So what else? There are two things which we have done, which is irrespective of any framework we were using. The first thing is the architecture. So what we have done is we have kept the architecture of our design system, the folder structure, all same throughout, either it's vanilla, either it's React. The reason was this, we are able to, first thing is we are able to reuse our scripts and pipelines. Now we don't need to do much of the changes. The same can be reused. Second thing was we were avoiding a lot of debates and discussion. What happened is when the moment we get the request, oh, you need to now, kick off the development of Angular. So debate will start. How should be the folder structure? You know that X brand is using this kind of folder structure. You know that Y brand is using this kind of folder structure. We just remove that discussion, because when you're a small team and you have a lot of work to do, you look into those issues where you can remove these kind of debates. You want to do more and talk less, debate less. So this thing actually helped a lot. The second thing was repos. We started with separate repos. Now we are thinking about mono repos. I'm not sure about the challenges. I'm going through that. But with having the separate repos, everything was going smooth. So I have to still get into the mono repos thing. But yep, just a takeaway, having separate repos, everything is working well. The next thing is naming convention. So this is from the two perspective. The first thing is we had this in the experience that the UX designed some components. For example, they said chip, developer understood tag. Now the confusion started whenever we are having the discussion. When our UX is giving documentation to the UX writer, the UX is saying chip, UI is saying tag, and so on. So like a lot of confusions were going on. And when the developer are developing those components, again the confusion was there. So the first exercise we did was we get into a room with our UX designer. We understood all, we started naming all the components. That components we are using throughout. Please avoid this confusion, because the way we are scaling, it doesn't give a good impression when we are in a room presenting our design system to product people, and we as a designer and as a developer, we are not on same page of the component's name. The second thing with the naming convention is, because we have a reusable styling in our system and products can use that, and we acknowledge that there will be separate styling or third-party styling they will be using. To avoid the name conflict, we are using name spacing for that. So yes, naming convention is important. Flexibility. So this is very interesting topic for us because as a developer, we wanted to have the components to have all the flexibility of the world. As a developer, we wanted if a developer is going to use any component, they can pass the images, they can pass the HTML, they can do this, that, and all. But the flip side is, though it looks fancy, but the flip side is the moment you are saying the end user is going to add images or something, you are actually giving up window to make mistakes because we were saying that these components are as per the brand guidelines, but if your end user is going to mess up somewhere, they are breaking the brand guidelines, and as a result, we as a COE team, we as a maintainer and creator of design system, we need to sit and fix those issues. So for the starting, what we have decided, we are not going to give any flexibility. If this is our scope, we are going to focus only on that. Later on the basis of the feedback, we will see. Because we don't like to have those issues in our system, which we knew that those are not our issues. That's it. Um, Component structure. So this is very interesting because every developer who is coming to either in anyone's team or in my team have different style of writing the code. Having all people on the same page, it's important to have a example of the component, that how you want the component structure in your design system. So what we have done is we have created a sample component for that. We have mentioned that how to segregate the external and internal dependency, where the prop types should be, what should be the naming convention, how you can name and call the third party dependency, what is the process if you want a third party dependency. The benefit what we had after this is we actually made it to avoid internal confusion, but now this is actually becoming helping us in getting the collaborators also. So if anyone asks us that how we can collaborate, we just give them that component that this is how you need to make it, and then you can submit your PR. So please, if you are looking for something else, if you are looking for something like this, have a sample component in place is very helpful. I already talked about the styling that we separated that for HTML also. Component API. So this is what I heard from most of the design system developer. The moment they have a design system in the organization, the product people see us like they are the one who are going to offload our work. So they try to push every component on you. And you need to learn no, saying no. So what we have done is we tell them very clearly, see, if you are telling us to make a new jazzy accordion, this not going to happen. You need to give it to us. We will explore it. We will understand, do it need a new component, or we can live with a simple modifier. Like here, initially we were having a simple accordion, but then we got a request from few products. Then we understood that they need a separate kind of accordion. Basically, they were playing with the states. So we introduced our type toggle, and internally our component API was handling it. So please do not get overwhelmed when the product are pushing you for the new component. We still keep getting requests, but the thing is, as a design system, we have to take call where to say no. The last thing is StoryBook. It's a best thing for the React developers, and StoryBook helped us a lot in gaining the confidence from non-tech people, because the moment before showing them the StoryBook, whatever we were telling them, it is going above their head because they are not able to understand code and all. But the moment we show them the StoryBook, you can change on the fly the knobs, the button will change the color, and the code is coming here, and there are the technical documentation, and they start gaining the confidence in that. So we have leveraged StoryBook a lot. The only problem is that there is no consistent behavior in the StoryBook with React, Angular, and others. So right now we are trying to explore that how we can have our own playground. But this is the biggest thing what I learned while doing design system and presenting internally in my organization, that it is very good to have a visual presentation where the non-tech people can play. As a developer, we assume that everything is on GitHub. What else you need? But you need to acknowledge that decision makers are non-technical people. They never logged in GitHub. So they need a system, they need a place from where they can take such decisions. Okay, so where we are right now, We are done with the vanilla components. We are done with the React.js component. We are almost wrapping up our AngularJS components. We have a dedicated portal for that, and we have our own icon library, our own on style guide, color palettes, and so on. Okay, so challenges. There were a lot of challenges, trust me. But just to summarize, evangelism is very hard. I am a very active speaker. I used to think, oh, it is going to be very easy. But trust me, it is not easy. Because when you are sitting in a meeting room, presenting your product, you are not there to convince them to use it. You are there to tell them that how this product is going to help. There is a huge difference between convincing and huge difference in telling them the pros and especially the cons. As a creator of the product, you also need to talk about the cons. You will be under constant evaluation that what you are pushing them to use and what they have right now, how your product is going to help them. So evangelism is very, very hard. Second thing was, we knew already that already products are using some design system in place. They wanted to migrate, but they don't wanted to take the pain of migration guides. So we knew that we have to build migration guides for them. Our testing team is very nice in that, and they are doing this thing. But yes, making migration guides is very tough. It's very challenging. The next thing is performance metrics. Everyone loves performance word. Everyone loves metrics. Everyone wants to see numbers. I don't know how you can justify design system in numbers. The things we are figuring out is we have a styling library of CSS. So what we do is we go out, we look for other benchmark numbers, and we show that numbers that this is our size of our CSS and this is the size of other one. The second thing what we do is we try to create small patterns and POCs with heavy data and try to show them. The best thing what we have done, we internally we have open sourced everything. So that was the one of the thing which is able to gain the confidence. The second thing was small team. As I mentioned that we were like 6 developers, 6 designer, 4 UX people. And this was one of our project, not the full-fledged project. So yep, it was challenging to balance the time and everything. The last thing is that every product is different. Uh, we thought that we will make a design system and then we will move to some other thing. Anyone can come and use it, but nope, every product is different. Every product comes with its own challenges, its own requirements. It's all, it's their own code, which we also need to understand that how we can help. And with every product, the requirement is so different that we also have to scratch our head that how we are going to do it. So yeah, be prepared if you are doing something like this, that every product is different. Learnings. There were a lot of learnings, and I'm blessed that I got an opportunity to do this such type of product. Again, evangelism is important. You can't make a product in isolation and keep quiet. You need to go out and spread the word that this is what we have created, this is what we have created. You need to do that. If you are not going to do that, no one will get to know and no one is going to use. And there's no benefit of making such product then. Early previews, early feedbacks. This is the one thing as a developer I wanted to do is I don't want to share my work unless and until it is in the best form. But my manager was like, no, you have to go. If you have created only 2 components, go out, talk to the product people. And I went. And today, if I look back, I'm very glad that my manager asked me to do this because a lot of features and the where our design system standing right now is only because of the constructive feedbacks we have got from the product. So never shy that if you are not production ready yet, but please go out and start showing your work. Again, try to say no whenever a product team is trying to push you for new component. There is no harm. There is no harm literally. Process are very important. The best thing what we have done being a small team also that we set up the process which still helping us and avoiding a lot of debates and discussion. As I mentioned, the next thing is transparency. We open sourced everything. So if anyone wants to see our test cases or anything, sketch files even, everything is open source. Within organization, they can go check and let us know if they want some changes. Make guidelines part of your process. As a developer, we assume that every developer must be having prettier on their system, linter on their system, and so nope, please don't trust. Make them the part of your pipelines, please, because I don't know, I can't trust developers like this that they will be having prettier or they will be having linter, they will be having everything. No, please don't do that. It's fine. It's totally fine for the sake of the code quality. Make them the process of your, make them the part of your process. Documentation is very important, but from the documentation, one thing what I have learned is uh, there will be a lot of browser issues and there will be a lot of such issues which you are not going to fix. Document them. The reason is that this is the least thing you want, that your issues are getting filled with the issues like this on which you are not going to do it. So always make them, bold, that these are the known issues we are not going to fix. These are the browser issues we are not going to fix. So please do that. And many, many more for sure. There were a lot of learnings. At the last, do not hesitate in bending some rules or creating definition or rules of your own design system. It is not mandatory that you go by the definition or the book of rules of design system. It's fine. Think about reusability. There is no harm of being a lazy developer. If you are lazy, then only you will avoid doing rework and you will think about reusability. Thank you very much. If last thing, if you are an introvert, this is my ask me anything, and if you are extrovert, I am here till evening and then I will off to India. Thank you so much.